I was thinking we could order some pizzas later if everyone is hungry.
That sounds good. I'm actually starving.
Me too. Let's do it.
Morning, love. Coffee. I called from the kitchen, trying to sound cheerful. Thanks, honey. Just how I like it, Lara replied, her voice soft, almost melodic. She smiled at me, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I watched her for a moment, beautiful, glowing, the kind of smile that made all the stress of work melt away. Alex wandered in, yawning, rubbing his eyes. Didn't know you were up this early, he said, reaching for a mug. Got a meeting, I said, handing him some toast. You? Just checking in. Mom said you two were having breakfast together. Thought I'd join, Alex said casually, grinning. That easy charm, that way he could make anyone feel at home, it always got me. I laughed. Of course. Sit down. Lara poured herself more coffee. You know, it's nice when we all have breakfast together. Feels like old times. Yeah, I said, smiling, though something niggled at the back of my mind. A fleeting doubt. Silly, really. Maybe I was imagining it. I noticed Lara's phone buzz on the counter. She glanced at it, a faint shadow crossing her face before she quickly smiled. Work stuff, she said. Nothing to worry about. I nodded, swallowing my suspicion. Okay. Just look serious for a second. She laughed lightly. I'm fine. Really? Alex caught my glance and raised an eyebrow. Everything okay, cousin? Yeah, just the usual early morning paranoia, I joked. They both laughed, and I forced myself to let it go. Maybe it was nothing. Later, we sat in the living room, the sun spilling warmth across the floor. Lara rested her head on my shoulder while Alex flicked through his phone. You guys are way too comfortable, Alex teased. I like it, Lara said. Her voice was soft, almost teasing, and I felt a twinge of warmth. Everything felt right. I poured another cup of coffee for myself. We've got it pretty good, don't we? Yeah, Lara whispered, her fingers brushing mine. We do. Then her phone buzzed again. This time, she jumped slightly, and I noticed her quick glance at the screen. Something about the way she hit it, the brief hesitation, it made my stomach tighten. Everything okay? I asked, keeping my tone casual. Of course, she said too quickly. Just a friend from work. I nodded, trying to shake the unease. Okay. But the thought lingered, whispering doubt I didn't want to admit. Alex looked between us. You two seem tense, he said, joking. Trouble in paradise? No, I said firmly, a bit too quickly. Everything's fine. Lara smiled at me, reaching for my hand. See? Nothing to worry about. I forced a smile back, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. My mind raced through every little detail, the quick glances at her phone, the faint hesitation in her voice, Alex's oddly knowing look at times. Maybe I'm just overthinking, I muttered under my breath. Come on, breakfast isn't a place for overthinking, Lara said lightly, squeezing my hand. I laughed softly, trying to believe her. I wanted to believe her. Yet, as I watched them both, my wife and my cousin laughing, so comfortable together, I felt a strange chill. A doubt creeping in, subtle but undeniable, like a shadow over a sunny day. I shook my head, telling myself it was nothing. But deep down, I sensed it. The calm before a storm I wasn't ready to face. My phone rang just as I was finishing breakfast. The screen flashed Lara's name. I smiled, thinking she was calling to say something sweet like she always did. Hey, babe. I answered cheerfully. There was a pause. Then her voice came, trembling. I can't do this anymore. What do you mean? I asked, confused. Do what? I can't stay married to you, she whispered. I laughed nervously. Wait, what? Are you joking? I'm not joking, she said, voice cracking. I'm so sorry, but it's over. No, this isn't real. You're joking, Lara, I said, panic rising. Tell me you're joking. Please. I wish I were. I didn't plan for this, but I can't lie anymore. I betrayed you. I froze. The coffee in my hand felt like lead. You, what? My voice shook. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. I can't. She cut herself off, sobbing. Lara, who? I pressed, heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst through my chest. There's no one else to blame, she said quietly. It was me. I messed up. I can't fix it. I ran my hands through my hair. You can't fix it? You can't fix us? We were happy. My voice cracked. I thought we were happy. We were, I know, she whispered. But I don't love you the way I should. Not anymore. I never stopped thinking about him. I felt my stomach drop. The word him burned in my ears. My chest tightened. Who? I asked, voice low. Tell me who. She hesitated. I can't say. Not now. I needed to tell you the truth before it was too late. My hands trembled. You're leaving me, for him. I couldn't keep the disbelief out of my voice. How could you? I didn't mean for it to happen, she sobbed. I tried, I really tried, but I can't undo it. I paced the room, my mind spinning. Do you know what you're doing? Do you even realize? I do, she said softly. And I hate myself for it. I can't go on pretending. I sank into the chair, gripping the phone like it was the only thing keeping me tethered. This is insane. You're insane. I'm sorry, she whispered again. I wish I could tell you more, but I can't. Not now. I needed you to hear it from me before. Before what? Before what happens? Tell me. I shouted. She was silent for a long moment. Then she whispered, goodbye. The line went dead. I sat there, staring at the phone, unable to breathe. My heart pounded, my chest burned. My whole life, the perfect life I thought I had, shattered in a few words. I tried calling back. Lara, please, answer me. I dialed again and again, but it went straight to voicemail. I sank to the floor, phone in hand, my mind racing. Betrayal, disbelief, rage, all of it tangled together so tightly I couldn't think. I kept replaying her words. I can't stay married to you. I betrayed you. I never stopped thinking about him. I knew immediately who she meant. My cousin Alex. The thought hit me like a punch to the gut. It can't be him. It has to be someone else. It just has to. But deep down, I already knew. My hand shook as I pressed the phone to my chest. I whispered, No, this isn't real. You're lying. You can't do this to me. Not him. Not him. The quiet of the apartment felt suffocating. I wanted to scream, to shout, to throw something. But I couldn't. I just sat there, letting the shock wash over me, letting the cold realization settle in. My perfect life, the life I'd worked so hard for, was gone. And I didn't know how I was supposed to live in a world where the two people I trusted most had turned against me. I stared at the phone, trembling, knowing one thing for sure, nothing would ever be the same. I couldn't stop thinking about Lara's call. Every word, every tremble in her voice, replayed in my mind like a broken record. I paced the apartment, phone in hand, searching for some clue, anything that made sense. Hey, Alex, I called later that afternoon when he dropped by. Got a minute? Of course, cousin. What's up? He leaned casually against the doorway, that easy grin plastered on his face. I forced a smile. Just wanted to ask about Lara. Did she say anything to you today? Alex's grin didn't falter. Nothing unusual. Why? Nothing, just checking in, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. You seem tense, he said, tilting his head, genuinely curious, or so it seemed. Yeah, just work stress, I guess, I lied. My stomach churned, and I tried to read his expression. Nothing. He looked normal, casual, harmless, but I couldn't shake the doubt gnawing at me. Later, I found her phone on the counter, left there while she was in the bathroom. I froze when I saw a message pop up. Just a snippet. Can't wait to see you tonight. My chest tightened. I swallowed, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Maybe work, maybe a friend. But every instinct in me screamed otherwise. I muttered to myself, pacing. It's nothing. It has to be nothing. Then the memories started flooding in. Her laugh a little too soft when Alex joked, the way she leaned in when they talked, the quiet glances I hadn't noticed before. Every memory felt like a needle piercing my chest. I grabbed my keys. I need to talk to him, figure this out. I drove to Alex's apartment, pretending casual curiosity. I knocked, and he opened the door with the same grin. "Hey, everything okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Just wanted to hang out, talk." "Sure, come in," he said, stepping aside. We sat in his living room, casual chatter filling the space. "So, how's work?" I asked. "Busy, but good." "You know how it is," he said. His tone was light, effortless. Too effortless. I stuttered him. "You've been seeing Lara a lot lately," I said carefully, testing him. He raised his eyebrows. "Really? I mean, we see each other sometimes, yeah, but nothing strange." "Nothing." I pressed, leaning in. "She's been acting distant, secretive, texting a lot." Alex shrugged. "People have their own lives, you know. Maybe she's just stressed." I nodded slowly, trying to hide the suspicion swirling inside me. "Yeah, maybe." He laughed, leaning back on the couch. "You worry too much, cousin." I forced a laugh too, but my mind was racing. Was he lying? Or was I just imagining things? My emotions swung wildly. Denial, suspicion, fear, anger. I wanted to trust him, but every tiny gesture now looked like a lie. I left his apartment feeling heavier than when I arrived. On the drive home, I tried to convince myself I was overreacting. Maybe it really was nothing. But the doubt wouldn't leave me. Back at my apartment, I noticed Lara's scarf on the couch, crumpled, not folded neatly. I picked it up, remembering a day not long ago when she wore it. Alex had complimented her on it. Their laughter echoed in my mind. I sank onto the sofa, phone in hand, scrolling through messages I shouldn't have looked at. A text from Alex popped up. "Had a great time today. Can't wait for tomorrow." My hand shook. I threw the phone down, heart hammering. "God, it's real," I muttered, voice barely audible. "It's really happening. Both of them." I remembered the times I thought Lara's smiles were for me, when maybe they were for him. Every shared secret, every inside joke I didn't understand, suddenly made sense. My chest ached, betrayal twisting like a knife. I tried to calm myself. "Okay. Breathe. Think. Don't act stupid." But it was hard. Every fiber of my being screamed that I had been played, that my life had been a lie. I stared at the empty living room, imagining them together, laughing, whispering, sharing secrets I wasn't part of. The image burned in my mind, igniting a quiet fury I didn't know I had. The worst part? I couldn't tell anyone. Not yet. Not until I had proof, until I understood the full picture. Right now, I was left with a gnawing doubt and a heart full of anger and confusion. I clenched my fists, muttering to myself, "I'll find out everything. I'll see the truth, no matter what." And as I looked at the two people I trusted most in the world, though not in the same room, I realized the betrayal wasn't distant. It was closer than I ever imagined. I came home early that day, my mind racing, and knot twisting in my stomach. I knew I couldn't wait any longer. I had to see for myself. The front door was unlocked. My heart pounded. "Lara?" I called, trying to keep my voice steady. "Yeah, I'm here," she said, from the kitchen, humming softly. Too casual. My chest tightened. I moved toward her phone lying on the counter. A notification popped up. Photos. Hundreds of them. My vision blurred as I scrolled. There they were, Lara and Alex, laughing, holding hands, close, too close. My stomach dropped. I gripped the counter, feeling dizzy. I started, but my voice caught in my throat. "You found them," Lara said quietly, without looking up. "Why?" My voice shook. "Why would you do this? All this time, behind my back?" "I didn't plan for it to happen," she said softly. "It just did. I can't explain it better." "Can't explain it better." I shouted, disbelief and rage spilling out. "I trusted you. I trusted both of you." She turned to me, eyes glistening but defiant. I know. And I'm sorry. I really am. But I can't pretend anymore. I can't lie to myself, or to you. You call this love? This, betrayal? I yelled. This is disgusting. It's not like that, she said, her voice breaking. I care about you. I really do. But what Alex and we connected. I didn't mean to hurt you. I swear I didn't. I shook my head, stepping back. You didn't mean to. You didn't mean to destroy my life. I never wanted to hurt you, she whispered. I can't control my feelings. I laughed bitterly. Feelings? Is that what you call this? This isn't feelings, Lara. This is cheating. This is lying. This is everything I never imagined you capable of. She swallowed hard, glancing away. I know it looks awful. I can't take it back. Of course, you can't. I said, my hands trembling. Do you even understand what this does to me? To us? To everything we built? I do, she said softly, almost like a plea. But hiding it wouldn't make it right either. I had to tell you. So it's fair, in some way. Fair? I spat, voice cracking. There's nothing fair about this. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, she whispered again. I wish it weren't true. I wish I could fix it, but I can't. I can't undo it. I slammed my fist on the counter. Undo it? You can't undo my trust. You can't undo my life. How could you? How could both of you do this? I didn't plan it, I swear, she said, her voice rising, almost defensive now. I didn't plan to fall for him. I didn't plan any of this. I cut her off. Don't even try to justify it. I don't want to hear it. I can't hear it. Just tell me one thing. Did you love him? Her silence was deafening. Then she whispered, yes, I think I did. My stomach turned. Nausea and anger collided. I felt sick, physically, as if the world had collapsed inside me. I wanted to scream, to break something, to hurt her the way she had hurt me, but I couldn't. I swallowed hard, trying to keep myself from losing control entirely. You're a liar, I whispered. A selfish, heartless liar. I'm not heartless, she said quietly. I'm conflicted. I'm scared. I'm human. I shook my head. Human. Human doesn't destroy the life of someone who loves you. Human doesn't betray their vows. Human doesn't. Enough, she said sharply. I'm done lying to you. That's all I can do. I can't change what happened. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I needed you to know the truth. I stared at her, chest heaving. Truth. The truth is you betrayed me. You and him. And nothing will ever fix that. She looked down, quiet now. I know. I'm sorry. I turned to leave, my hands trembling. I can't stay here. I need air. I'll never be the same. As I walked out the door, my heart felt heavy, broken, but somewhere inside, a seed of determination started to grow. I would survive this. I would reclaim my life. But nothing could undo the damage she had caused. I hadn't slept properly in days. My apartment felt smaller, suffocating, even though no one else was there. My phone buzzed again, but I didn't answer. I didn't want to hear her voice, or anyone else's. Hey, you okay? Mark, my coworker, asked during lunch. His eyes were concerned, and I could tell the others were noticing too. Yeah, just tired, I muttered, poking at my salad. You've barely touched your food all week, he said gently. Something's going on, man. I said I'm fine, I snapped, louder than I meant. All right, he said, hands raised. No need to get defensive. I stared down at my plate. Every bite felt impossible. The taste of betrayal still lingered in my mouth, sour and bitter. Later, Sarah, my friend from work, cornered me by the copier. You're withdrawing. You're not yourself. Talk to me. I don't want to talk, I said sharply. I'm fine. Really? She frowned. Fine. You look like hell. I know something happened. Just say it. You can trust me. I clenched my fists. It's personal, I said finally, voice tight. Someone I trusted, betrayed me. Wow, she said softly. I'm so sorry. Do you want to get coffee after work? Maybe talking will help. I shook my head. I don't think talking helps anymore. Not with people who lied to me. She looked hurt but nodded. Okay. I'm here if you need me. I left, gripping the steering wheel, feeling anger and sadness twisting together. Their betrayal replayed in my head. Lara's trembling voice, Alex's calm charm, the photos, the messages. I could see them laughing together, whispering, sharing everything I'd thought was mine. I can't believe this, I muttered aloud, pacing my apartment. How could they do this? How could both of them? I sat on the couch, rubbing my face, trying to stop the tears that kept threatening. My anger surged. I wanted to yell, to scream, to break something. But I couldn't. I had to think. Think, I whispered. I can't just sit here. I can't let them win. I started reviewing everything I knew, their schedules, the times they were alone, the small patterns I hadn't noticed before. I had to find a way to regain control, to expose them, to make them pay without destroying myself in the process. I grabbed my notebook, scribbling down names, dates, possibilities. If I can track everything, I can prove it. I can make them see the consequences of their actions. I thought about confrontation, but anger clouded my judgment. No, not yet. I need the right moment. I can't be reckless. I have to be smart. But then the sadness hit again. I missed her, stupidly, irrationally. My mind swung between rage and longing, betrayal and love. Why did you do this, Lara? I whispered into the empty room. Why him? Why me? Was I not enough? I felt a wave of nausea, sitting with the realization that the woman I loved, the man I trusted, had both betrayed me. It was like losing everything at once. Home, trust, love. I slammed the notebook shut. No. I can't let this destroy me. I have to get my life back. I have to rebuild. I can't stay passive. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm inside me. Step 1, I muttered. Gather evidence. Step 2, control the situation. Step 3, consequences. The plan began forming, not in a calculated way, but in a desperate, chaotic determination. Every betrayal, every hidden glance, every whispered laugh now had meaning. I would use it. I looked around the apartment, feeling the emptiness press down. I can't go back, I said softly. I can't be the same person I was. I have to be stronger, smarter, wiser. The phone buzzed again. I didn't answer. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Not yet. Not until I had control. Instead, I sat in silence, letting the anger simmer, letting the heartbreak fuel the plan forming in my mind. I would rise from this. I would make them regret every second of betrayal. But first, I had to survive myself. I had to reclaim my mind, my body, my life. I whispered, almost to myself, I can't let them win. I won't. And for the first time in days, the fire inside me felt like hope. Hope that one day, I would be whole again, stronger, and they would see the consequences of their actions. I sat at my desk, staring at the notebook filled with everything I knew. Dates, messages, lies, little inconsistencies. I ran my fingers over the pages, feeling a strange calm settle over me. This wasn't despair anymore. It was strategy. Hey, you look different, Mark said as he dropped by my cubicle. Better, somehow. Not stressed. I smirked faintly. I've got things under control now. Just focusing. Focusing? He asked, raising an eyebrow. On what? Life, I said shortly, keeping my tone casual. On me. On making sure things don't get messy. He nodded slowly. All right, if you say so. Later, I ran into Alex at the gym. He was all charm, all confidence, laughing with a group of friends. Hey, cousin, he called, waving. Hey, I said, nodding. I let him think everything was normal. How's work? Busy, as usual, he said. You should come out for drinks with us sometime. Maybe, I said, smiling faintly. But inside, my mind was already analyzing him, calculating the best way to expose him without losing my composure. I left the gym, walking slowly, thinking about Lara. Her lies, her manipulations, every tiny betrayal. It was all in front of me now. I could play this, control it. That evening, I invited a few friends over for a small dinner. Casual. Nothing obvious. But I knew Alex and Lara were likely to hear about it. Thanks for coming, I said, pouring wine. I thought it'd be nice to catch up. They arrived. Lara smiled. Too perfect, too calm. Hi, she said. Looks nice here. I nodded, keeping my tone casual. Thanks. Just wanted a quiet evening. Alex wandered into the kitchen. You always host so well. Impressive, he said, glancing around. I smiled. I try. Glad you noticed. The conversation flowed, casual at first. I asked questions, joked, laughed. But every word was carefully chosen, every glance measured. I was planting seeds, small hints, nudges that made them reveal themselves without realizing it. So, how's work for you, Alex? I asked casually, leaning back in my chair. Good, he said. Busy, like always. Busy, or maybe a little too busy with other things. I said lightly, raising an eyebrow. He chuckled nervously. What do you mean? Oh, nothing, I said, waving it off. Just noticing how much time people spend texting certain friends. Lara's smile faltered for a fraction of a second. I caught it. My pulse quickened, quietly thrilled at the small crack in her perfect mask. We moved to the living room, friends chatting, laughing. I casually mentioned a dinner we'd had at Alex's last month, a dinner I knew Lara had manipulated to hide their meetings. Remember that evening? I asked lightly. Funny how stories change depending on who tells them. Alex frowned. Stories? Yeah, I said, calm but firm. Little details get left out. It's interesting, what people choose to reveal and what they hide. He shifted uncomfortably. Lara tensed beside him. I kept smiling, pouring wine, making small talk, letting the tension build without drawing attention to it. Later, I noticed Alex glance at his phone nervously. I let a subtle smirk slip. Important message. I asked innocently. No, nothing, he said quickly, looking away. I raised an eyebrow. Sure. Funny, you always seem busy with certain contacts. Cousin, come on, he said, voice forced. I leaned back. I'm just observing. Nothing more. Just noticing patterns. Lara touched my arm lightly. Don't push it, she whispered. I looked at her, calm, almost gentle. I'm not pushing. I'm understanding. The evening ended without an explosion, but I could feel it. Alex and Lara were uneasy, their charm faltering. Small victories, I reminded myself. Patience. Observation. Evidence. Control. As I closed the door behind the last guest, I muttered under my breath. Soon they'll see that nothing stays hidden forever. Every lie, every secret, every betrayal, they'll pay for it. I sank onto the couch, notebook open, phone ready. I reviewed every text, every photo, every memory. I mapped out the confrontation, how it would unfold, and who would witness it. This wasn't about anger anymore. It was about strategy, about reclaiming power in a world they tried to control, about showing them the consequences without losing myself in the process. And when the right moment came, I would strike. Until then, I would wait, watch, and prepare. The seeds were planted. And soon, very soon, they would grow. I watched from the corner of the cafe, my notebook on the table, my hands wrapped around a lukewarm cup of coffee. Today was the day. Small details, carefully shared, had set the wheels in motion. Mark leaned across the table. You've been different lately. More confident, I guess. I've had time to think, I said casually, keeping my tone light. You know, reassess priorities. People's true colors come out eventually. He nodded, eyebrows raised. True colors. I smiled faintly. Yeah. Some people can't hide who they are for long. Mark leaned back, watching me. Sounds like someone got burned. I chuckled softly. Something like that. Later, I ran into Sarah. You okay? She asked, glancing around the cafe nervously. I heard things. I'm fine, I said, keeping my tone calm. But I've learned a lot about people. Friends, family, co-workers. You'd be surprised how much people reveal when you pay attention. She frowned. What do you mean? Oh, just small hints, I said lightly. Little mistakes, little oversights. They tell stories without realizing it. I've been observing. Her eyes widened slightly. Wow. Sounds intense. Life teaches you to be intense sometimes, I said with a faint smile. By evening, I had spread a few carefully chosen words among mutual friends and family. Innocent questions, subtle mentions, stories framed in a way that planted doubt. Each conversation was harmless on the surface but strategically positioned to crack their facade. When Lara called that night, I let it ring. She tried her usual sweet tone. Hey, how's your day? Busy, I said calmly. I've been thinking. Thinking? She asked cautiously. About what? About honesty, I said softly. About how sometimes people don't realize what they've given up, or what they've broken. There was silence on the line, then a sharp inhale. I don't understand. You will, I said, voice low but controlled. And I hope when you do, you see how little control you actually had. She didn't respond. I hung up, letting the tension settle like smoke. The next day, I ran into Alex at a social event. He greeted me with that familiar, overconfident grin. Hey, didn't expect to see you here. Surprised? I asked lightly, mimicking casual curiosity. Not really, he said, chuckling. I mean, it's a party. People mingle. Right, I said, tilting my head. People mingle, and secrets tend to surface. Funny how that happens. His smile faltered, a subtle shift I caught immediately. What do you mean? Nothing specific, I said, voice calm, almost gentle. Just observing patterns. Connections. Choices people make. Lara appeared beside him, her forced smile failing to mask tension. Hey, she said softly. Everything okay? Better than okay, I said, leaning slightly toward her. I've learned a lot about honesty, about consequences, about people who think they can hide their actions. She swallowed, voice tight. I don't know what you're implying. I think you do, I said, smiling faintly. And that's what makes this so interesting. Throughout the evening, I let subtle hints drop in casual conversations, little truths disguised as jokes or observations. Friends raised eyebrows, exchanged glances. I watched as unease crept over Alex and Lara. Their arrogance, their confidence, started to crumble piece by piece. Do you always talk in riddles? Alex whispered to Lara, glancing nervously at me. Not usually, she whispered back, voice shaking. But, this time, I don't know. He's different. I could hear it, feel it, the cracks forming, the fear bubbling beneath the surface. Every small glance, every half-hearted laugh, every tense silence was proof that my plan was working. Later, I stepped outside for a breath of air, heart pounding. I realized something. This wasn't just satisfaction. It was intoxicating, seeing them unravel, feeling the balance of power shift. But a part of me trembled. Am I losing myself? I whispered into the night. Am I the same person who loved her? Or just a man consumed by revenge? I shook my head, letting the cold air clear my thoughts. No. I'm reclaiming myself. I'm taking back what they tried to steal. I'll be better, stronger, smarter. Returning inside, I caught sight of Alex glancing toward me, fear evident in his eyes. Lara avoided my gaze, lips pressed together, trembling slightly. Friends whispered, raising subtle questions, filling in gaps they didn't even realize I had planted. And then it happened, the moment I'd been orchestrating. A mutual friend asked loudly, casually, about the unusual closeness between Alex and Lara, framed as innocent curiosity. Eyes turned toward them. Murmurs rose. I leaned back, letting it unfold, letting the truth begin to pierce their carefully constructed masks. Lara's hand flew to her mouth. Alex's grin vanished. I felt a strange thrill but also a pang of doubt. Was this too much? Was I crossing a line I couldn't return from? I whispered to myself, almost imperceptibly, no, they brought this on themselves. The tension in the room was electric. Every whispered reaction, every raised eyebrow, every awkward glance confirmed it. My plan was working. Their secrets, once hidden, were now exposed to the world around them. I sat back, heart pounding, notebook forgotten. Satisfaction washed over me, but the moral question lingered. Revenge tasted sweet, but I had to remember. I wasn't them. I had to survive this without becoming who they were. And yet, the seeds I planted were growing, twisting, and soon, very soon, their world would crumble entirely. I stood in the doorway, my hands trembling slightly, but my voice was steady. We need to talk. Both of you. Lara looked up, her smile faltering. What's this about? You know what it's about, I said, stepping inside. My eyes locked on Alex, who shifted nervously. All the lies. The secrets. The betrayal. Alex raised his hands, trying to sound casual. Look, I don't know why you're making this a big deal. Things just happened. Just happened. I echoed, voice rising. You slept with my wife. You lied to me, to everyone who trusted you. How can you even say just happened? Lara's eyes filled with tears, but she spoke firmly. I never wanted to hurt you. I didn't plan this. I can't change what happened. Change it. No, you can't. I shouted, pacing the room. Do you even understand the pain you caused? The trust you destroyed? Everything I believed in, gone. Alex's grin faltered. I didn't think. You didn't think. I cut him off. You didn't think about me? About us? About everything I sacrificed? Everything I gave you? Lara flinched at my words. I tried to. Try. I snapped. Try isn't enough. Do you know what it feels like to have your life shattered? To realize the people you trusted the most were the ones tearing you apart? Alex looked down, unable to meet my gaze. I didn't mean for it to go this far. We didn't think. Don't you dare speak like that. I roared. You lied, you cheated, you hid the truth, and now you're trying to excuse it? Do you even feel the weight of what you've done? Lara's voice shook. I do. I feel it every day. Every second. I hate myself for it. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I laughed bitterly, pacing in circles. Sorry doesn't undo the nights I spent alone wondering what I did wrong. Sorry doesn't fix the trust one can never get back. Sorry doesn't erase your smiles, your whispers, your betrayal. Alex took a step forward. I know I messed up. But we didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to hurt me. I whispered, incredulous. Meaning doesn't matter. Actions do. And your actions destroyed everything. Lara collapsed onto the sofa, burying her face in her hands. I never wanted this. I never wanted to. To destroy me. I finished for her. Yes, that's exactly what you did. I paused, taking a deep breath. My hands unclenched, my chest heaving. I wanted to scream, to hurt you the way you hurt me, to make you feel even a fraction of what I felt. But I'm not going to. I won't let this define me. Alex looked at me, fear finally in his eyes. What do you mean? I mean, I said slowly, voice calm but fierce. I've given you your consequences. Everyone who mattered knows the truth. Your lies are exposed. Your arrogance, your selfishness, it's all out in the open. You've lost the trust, the respect, the admiration you thought you had. Lara peeked up at me, tears streaming. Are you satisfied? Is this enough? I don't want satisfaction from your pain, I said firmly. I want my life back. I want my dignity. And I want to make sure I never lose myself in revenge. That's why I stop here. Alex swallowed hard, voice trembling. So, you're done? Yes, I said, stepping closer. I'm done letting you control me. Done letting your betrayal define me. I'm moving on. Not because I forgive you, not because I forget, but because I refuse to be consumed by hatred. That power belongs to me now. Lara's shoulders slumped. I understand. You should, I said, voice cold but steady. You both should. You made your choices. Now you live with them. That's justice enough. I looked around the room one last time, seeing them reduced to guilt, fear, and regret. It was not joy, it was closure. Not revenge, it was liberation. I hope one day, I continued softly, you realize how easily life can be destroyed by lies, and how impossible it is to rebuild trust once it's gone. Lara's lips trembled. I will. Alex's face paled. I understand. I turned toward the door, my chest lighter than it had been in months. Goodbye, I said simply. The door clicked shut behind me, and for the first time since the betrayal, I breathed freely. The storm inside me had passed. I had faced the darkness, and I had survived. I walked into the night, alone but unbroken. And for the first time, I felt the weight lift, the betrayal, the anger, the grief, replaced by a quiet strength I knew would carry me forward. No hatred, no revenge, no bitterness would control me again. I was free. I sipped my coffee at the small cafe down the street, sunlight spilling over the table. It felt ordinary, calm, peaceful, something I hadn't felt in months. Mark slid into the seat across from me. You look different, he said, smiling. Happier, maybe. I'm getting there, I said, shrugging. It's been a process. Yeah. He leaned forward. I mean, after everything, I'm impressed. Most people would still be, well, stuck. I was stuck, I admitted. But I realized I can't stay there. I can't let what happened define me. Not anymore. Sarah joined us, carrying her usual cheerful energy. Hey, the Survivors Club, she joked, sliding in beside me. I laughed softly. Feels like it. You look good, she said, genuine. Like you finally found yourself again. I'm trying, I said. Every day, a little bit better. Work, gym, friends. I'm focusing on myself first now. Good, Mark said. That's how it should be. You can't rebuild with people who break you. I nodded, thinking of everything I had been through. Trust has to be earned, not assumed. Love isn't enough if the other person betrays it. I learned that the hard way. Sarah smiled. Sounds like you're stronger for it. Wiser, even. Maybe, I said quietly, staring out the window. I won't lie, it still hurts sometimes. Memories sneak up. But it's different now. I don't let them control me. Mark leaned back. That's progress, my friend. Real progress. I took a deep breath, letting it out slowly. I've been journaling too, documenting my thoughts, tracking my moods. It helps me process everything without letting the anger or sadness take over. That's smart, Sarah said. You're turning a painful experience into something positive. Exactly, I said, smiling faintly. I'm learning patience, resilience, and self-respect. If someone shows me who they really are, I'll remember it, but I won't let it destroy me again. Mark raised his coffee cup. To rebuilding. I clinked mine against his. To moving forward. Not looking back. Not letting the past dictate the future. Sarah added, to strength. Emotional, mental, everything. I laughed softly, a warm, light sound I hadn't realized I missed. I like that. To strength. The conversation drifted to lighter topics. Work, weekend plans, movies. I felt the weight of months lifting. I was surrounded by people who genuinely cared, who offered support without judgment. And it felt good. I've even started dating myself, in a way, I said, joking lightly. Rediscovering hobbies, spending time alone, it's therapeutic. You sound happy, Mark said quietly. I am, I said, finally admitting it. It's not perfect. I still feel the sting sometimes. But I've accepted it. Lara, Alex, they're gone. Their choices are theirs, and my life is mine. I choose to live it fully. Sarah nodded. That's the best kind of freedom. Bittersweet, but real. I smiled, letting the feeling settle. Bittersweet. Yes. But peaceful too. I can breathe without anger filling my chest. I can sleep without nightmares clawing at me. And for the first time in a long time, I feel optimistic. Mark raised an eyebrow. Optimistic? Yes, I said, leaning back. For the future. 4 new opportunities. 4 people who deserve my trust and respect. I've rebuilt my foundation. Stronger, steadier, wiser. Sarah smiled softly. I'm proud of you. Really. I felt warmth spread through me, a quiet satisfaction. I had survived betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. I had faced the darkness and emerged whole, not broken. I looked out the window again, sunlight catching the edges of the world. Life isn't perfect, I said softly, more to myself than anyone else. But it's mine. And I'm finally ready to live it on my terms. Mark and Sarah smiled, sensing the shift in me. I had reclaimed my power, my peace, and my life. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I felt free. I walked through the park that evening, the golden light spilling over the benches and paths. It was quiet, peaceful, and for the first time, it felt like my life was truly mine. Mark jogged past me, waving. Hey. Looking good, man. Thanks, I said, smiling. Feels good to get some fresh air. He grinned. You've changed, you know. Calmer. Stronger. I've had time to think, I said, shrugging. And time to let go of what I can't control. Sarah appeared from the path, carrying a coffee. Mind if I join? Not at all, I said. I was just enjoying the evening. You're glowing, she said softly. Like someone finally found peace. I think I have, I admitted. After everything, after the lies and the betrayal, I've realized the power they thought they had over me is gone. Completely gone. Mark laughed. That's what I like to hear. Revenge through living well, huh? Exactly, I said. I don't need to confront them anymore. I don't need to watch them squirm. Their own choices are their punishment. I just live my life. Sarah nodded. That's smart. And freeing. I took a deep breath, feeling it fill my lungs, warm and steady. It's strange. I expected hatred to linger, or maybe some bitterness. But instead, there's clarity. I know who I am now. Stronger, wiser, unbroken. You sound happy, Mark said quietly. I am, I said. Not because I'm gloating, but because I survived. Because I refused to let betrayal consume me. That's the real victory. We walked together a little farther, laughing at trivial things, the weight of the past lifting with each step. I ran into Alex the other day, I said quietly, letting it slip casually. He looked lost. Doesn't seem like he's doing well. Sarah raised an eyebrow. And how did that make you feel? Honestly. I paused, smiling faintly. Nothing but calm. A quiet acknowledgement that actions have consequences. I don't celebrate their pain, but I don't feel guilty for it either. It's natural, I suppose. Mark nodded. Calmer, in its quiet way. Yes, I agreed. And I've learned that sometimes the best revenge is just living well, thriving, and refusing to let someone else's mistakes define your life. I stopped at a bench, sitting down, letting the sun wash over me. I see them in my mind sometimes. Lara, Alex. I remember the anger, the heartbreak, the nights I cried alone. But those memories don't control me anymore. They're just lessons. Wounds that taught me how to be stronger. You're inspiring, Sarah said softly. I don't feel inspiring, I said. I feel complete. Whole. I've rebuilt myself from the inside out. And for the first time, I can look ahead without fear. Mark grinned. So what's next? New opportunities, new people. New beginnings, I said firmly. I don't need to dwell on the past. I'll trust again when it's deserved. I'll love again when it's genuine. And I'll live fully, without hesitation or doubt. Sarah smiled. You deserve that. I know, I said. And that's why it's so satisfying. Not because I hurt them back, not because I proved them wrong, but because I refused to let them break me. I refused to be a victim forever. We sat quietly for a moment, watching the sunset. The city hummed softly around us, life continuing, indifferent to past pain. And yet, I felt connected to it, grounded, and at peace. I think, this is what freedom feels like, I whispered, almost to myself. Not loud or dramatic, just steady, quiet, and entirely mine. Mark nudged me. Looks like someone's finally won. I laughed, a warm, genuine sound. Yes, I said, smiling fully. Silent victory. My life, my rules, my strength. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, I realized it. Betrayal had tried to break me, but instead, it had made me whole. Stronger, smarter, free. And that was more than revenge. That was life reclaimed.